Hello folks, deepspaceUGC here with part 2 of adding flair to your missions. This time how to get multiple endings to your missions. So far at the minute there is no real branching mission to the Foundry, but there are workarounds to this, and I'm going to give you a small example as to how I work around this. First of all, let's access the engineering console because we have to save the ship, and I'm an engineer, it's my job to save the ship. Let's reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. Yeah, we've reversed it. Go through the door here and we'll speak to the captain. Well done, you saved the ship. Well, throw me a party or something. Never mind. We have saved the ship. Let's return to our ship. Energize. Tutorial complete. There we go. Let's reset the map and try something different, shall we? We shall access the engineering console and increase the polarity of the neutron flow. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Oh dear. Better speak to the captain, I suppose. You idiot! You destroyed my ship! Security, deal with him! Oh, she's pissed off. Quite rightly so, I suppose. And here comes security. Oh, yeah. They're a little angry too. Rightly so, I suppose. I mean, it was their ship after all. Maybe I shouldn't be shooting at fellow Federation officers. I don't know. I like shooting things, even if they are the good guys. Let's get off the ship. Run away, I suppose, is probably the order of the day. And there we go. So, again, how did I do this? That's a common question I ask, isn't it? How do I do this? Well, it's a bit more complicated than the last tutorial, but we'll go through it a little step by step. Okie dokie, first of all let's look at the story. It's a pretty linear story, as you can see. Interact with object, ship console, reach marker, talk to captain, then beam off the ship. Pretty simple. Now, how did I make this a little more complicated? Well, it's all down to the maps, you see. So if we go into tutorial 2, we shall see that we have our console, which is right here, and we have 2 lieutenants, which is our captain costume right here. 2. Now these will beam in eventually. These will beam in when I go to the states thing here. I have 2 invisible objects. I believe I've got 2 invisible objects. Yes, I've got 2 invisible objects which I've renamed Increased Polarity Neutron Flow and Reverse Polarity of Neutron Flow. The reason I did this was so that I could tell the difference between the 2. It made life a little easier. So the first captain appears when I reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, which is here, Invisible Object 2. Or you could make it Invisible Object 1, whatever. The second one shows up when I increase the polarity of the neutron flow, which is here. Now I've got to make sure that this captain shows up when I interact with these objects first, because I can't do anything with the invisible objects until I've told them, until I've actually marked which component will be completed so that she will beam in. Once this is done, so as you can see, reverse polarity neutral flow is right here, which I've already done. Once this is done, then I can go into the increased polarity of neutron flow into triggers. Now as you can see, it shows what it affects. Okay, so as you can see here, this invisible, the trigger when I interact with this object affects the Starfleet captain and the debris. It also hides reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, as reverse of the polarity of the neutron flow hides the increase the polarity of the neutron flow. Okay, so that's how that works. And we go down here and we rename the interact text as increased polarity of neutron flow and reverse polarity of neutron flow. Okay, so depending on which one of these I choose, it will affect everything else. If I reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, nothing happens, except the captain appears who will praise me and say I did a wonderful job, yay me. And everything else, the accidents, the fire, the explosion, the debris, won't show up on the map. However, if I increase the polarity of the neutron flow, the angry captain will appear, and everything else, the debris, the fire, and the security guards will show up once I've spoken to the captain. So it makes two different endings quite possible. It's probably a lot more simpler than I've explained it, but it's pretty much similar to the last tutorial I introduced to you, but it does kind of give you two different endings, which it's kind of a cheat. Now, in order to make it a different ending, I had no, I'm probably going to make that a little more complicated. But in order to make it talk to one contact rather than two, I made a place marker here. So basically, it's the same place marker for both outcomes, but you still have to talk to the captain either way. The captain is a standard default prompt contact. As you can see, there is no talk to contact in this story at all. Basically, the closest thing you can get to talk to contact is the reach marker, which is basically your quest to talk to the captain. And then I turned and then I gave the captain a default prompt. So that kind of gives you two different endings to the story. It's a little cheat. Hopefully the future builds of the Foundry will make things a lot easier than this, but it's a nice way around it. Oh, just as a side note, I did forget to mention the security force, which is basically a Mirror Federation squad with Federation Starfleet costumes, has also got its own states trigger. It will only appear when it interacts with the angry captain, which here is put down as dialogue tree number 3. So make sure that if you want bad guys to show up for your alternative ending, make sure that they are triggered to that particular ending. Otherwise, they'll just show up either way, which you don't really want. So make sure that that any additional flair you want to add to this is connected to the alternative ending in question. So that's basically it. Sorry again, this is rough. It's early in the morning. I'm still overtired. If you have any questions on how I can make this a little clearer, don't hesitate to PM me. And until next time, behave yourselves.